You want to build grit in your life? You have to speak the language of an overcomer. Grit happens inside of you. Perseverance happens on the inside. But part of what helps you get it on the inside is the language that you use, how you speak, because heart and speech are connected together. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, and as the mouth speaks, it affects your heart, your inner being. And overcomers have a certain language about them. And when you talk to an overcomer, they talk differently. They use words that others who don't have perseverance rarely or never use. Let me give you some examples of the kind of phrases that you'll hear from an overcomer versus someone who is not very persevering in their life. This is not meant to be exhaustive. I'm just kind of getting you to think here about some of the language you'll hear of people who overcome versus those that don't. An overcomer will use the word can instead of can't. They start eradicating this word from their life. Why? Because they believe that all things are possible to those that believe. They believe I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. They approach life from a can-do perspective rather than it can't be done perspective. Overcomers also look at life situations as opportunities rather than problems. When challenges come their way, instead of defining every challenge as a problem, they define challenges as what? As opportunities for their situation to flourish, for God to do something in the midst of whatever they're facing. Overcomers use phrases like, I'm going to make it, instead of, I'm not going to make it. It's a language thing. It's how you speak about your life. When life gets hard or challenging, the non-overcomer will say, you know what, I don't know, I'm not going to make it. But the overcomer says, it's hard right now, but I'm going to make it. Why don't you say that with me today? I'm going to make it. Doesn't that feel good just to say it, to declare it? It's the voice of an overcomer, the language. And then the voice of an overcomer, the language of an overcomer is, I'm going to get past this, versus I give up. See, it's so easy to say, I give up, but the overcomer says, no, I'm going to get past this. And the overcomer says, I'm learning a lot, versus this is too hard. The non-overcomer says, oh, this is just too hard. The overcomer says, you know what? It's hard, but I'm learning a lot through it. I would encourage you to think about your own language. What language is allowed in your household? What language do you speak? Do you speak the language of an overcomer? Why? Because a language of an overcomer or a perseverer builds grit inside a person's life.